I was good to the start.
Hola Comadres, welcome to the 15th episode of Comadreando. I'm your host Marcy, and I am joined today by a special guest. His name is Jerry, and I'm going to let him introduce himself. Who are you?
I am, well, they call me Jerry Diaz, but I'm also called Elmo Di Foca. My mom calls me Negro, if I have to include that. I'm an entertainment guy out here, a comic writer, producer, doing all that good stuff, director. A little bit of everything. Yeah.
He's good.
But I'm here representing the Men on Pause podcast. Thank you for the love, by the way, Comadreando.
So I met Jerry at the 100th episode celebration. I had heard of their podcast, but we got to chopping it up at the show and not at the show, at the party. And we basically, connected and we decided to do an episode together. So I was trying to rack my brain to figure out what we were going to talk about. And the topic came up easily because he posted something the other day. And basically the topic is modern day dating. And it's one that we are going to discuss ad nauseum because dating now is very different than back in the day when we were 18 and such.
Very, very different.
So I have a lot of friends that are newly single. They broke up during the pandemic and they're trying to get back out there. So I kind of wanted to get a male's perspective.
Yes, hey.
I wanted to get a male's perspective about the dating scene and kind of all of that. So I wanted to pick your brain.
Well, what do you want to know? Where do we start? Where do we start? Well, I mean, I too. I'm a victim of the pandemic. You know what it is? As much as terrible as it was, that this pandemic hit and we lost a lot of lives and we lost a lot of people and whatever. But also, a lot of bullshit got cut out. A lot of, the fat got trimmed in the whole aspect of, everything that we call life, And kind of, everything got put into perspective, what really is important and, the value that we place on things, And some people, they place their value on money. And other people place their value on whatever it may be, their relationships, whatever. But if there was a line to be drawn, the pandemic drew it, and really well, So it was one of those things where you kind of had to face your truths. And guess what? We're going to get to really know each other right now because you're not working, I'm not working. We're looking at each other. We had kids in the mix, So it's you're looking at kids, you're looking at your kids, you're looking at and this is your life, And if you are not 100% on board with what's happening, then it's not going to succeed no matter how you try. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree with that.
So I mean, it was my breakup happened in November 2020. I want to say right before that, right around the holidays, real special time. Yeah. And it was rough. And the first thing that came to my mind is, we can't go out. So even if I want to have a random hookup or whatever the young people do, I can't do it. I can't. Where am I supposed to go? Unless I go to an emergency room, there's no, especially back then, there was no, and then also can nobody be with nobody? You know what I mean? Do you have it? Are you tested? This is even before the vaccines, this was before the vaccines too. So, it's been a journey. I can't imagine going into the whole thing single, mostly because, because there were times where even when things weren't going well, it was just nice to have somebody there. It's just nice to have that companionship. And at the end of the day, even if you don't, there was a moment in time where you guys were mutually respecting each other and had amicable things. So you try to find those moments where you can. And with kids, it's easier because you kind of okay, let's play these games, let's do these things. But, I can't even imagine, it's been rough the last year. And then when you hear the other thing is coming, you're ay, Dios mío, otra vez.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Ay. Yeah. Sorry. A bunch of my friends actually broke up during the pandemic, and it was kind of like, it was forcing them to analyze their relationships and what do you have. Because the thing is, like, when you're at work and you're leaving the house, you have a break, right? Some people were together and they didn't even like each other. You know what I'm
Yes.
saying? It was kind of more of a force of habit more than anything. And it really had people sit down and really analyze, like, am I happy? Do I really even like this person? Like, there's even things that you think about, like, take away the sex, like, what you have. And a lot of the relationships didn't survive because of that, um yeah, like, people were able to, like, even with jobs too, like, me myself as an educator, I was able to kind of sit down and be like, yo, I really fucking hate the school that I was teaching at. I was like, I don't want
Right.
to be here anymore.
Right. We have reassessed everything, Yeah.
And then, like, long run, I was like, yeah, I might not want to be a teacher, like, into my retirement age. Like, the way we're being treated now is, like, nuts. But, like, I was not in a relationship. I had just recently started seeing somebody when the pandemic hit. And it was just very interesting to see how people process things differently than you. And it made me become more conscientious in the fact that I can't expect me from everybody, and to meet people where they're at and accept them for who they are.
Right.
That was a big thing, because, like, I did a lot of, like, I was married. I don't know if you were married before.
No. It felt like it. No, but no.
No, yeah. So I was married before, like, way before the pandemic, obviously.
Okay.
My son's 13, so we got separated when he was, like, about 1.
Oh,
And,
wow. Okay.
yeah, so it's been a while, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, and I dated on and off, but it was just kind of, you go through that, like, the divorce thing, and you work on things, but then, like, the pandemic kind of really made you sit down with yourself and kind of analyze, like, I still have to work. I have more things to work on. Like, I'm not done yet. So it kind of made me see that I'm still a work in progress, and kind of see where I still needed to, shed some light and do the rest of the work to get over it.
And a lot of that comes with time, like time that you dedicate to whatever, to every aspect, or, the perspective of the relationship, right? Or just your life in general. Let's just say that. But then also, like, that was it. Like, there were no excuses, right? So, like, now you're looking at each other, and whatever it was that you were postponing and didn't want to put work into is right there. And now there's no excuse not to do it. You
can't get out of it.
It was really rough for me because yeah, like, like, it was one of those things where, like, I'm trying to, like, you trying to do the therapy, like, you suggested therapy usually, because there was a lot of avoiding, on the other end. I'm very much a person that, like, I don't like things to linger. I want to confront things. I want to talk about it. Even if it's ugly, even if it's not something that's pleasant that I want to talk about, because a lot of times it's stuff about yourself, but I am willing and open, and I'm open to have those conversations that, like, let's handle this. Let's not let this thing linger, and it's like, when you're dealing with, sometimes people don't also deal with things like you're saying. You gotta curb yourself and think of, like, yo, this other person doesn't think like me. This is another, but I also don't, like, I'm also not a person, like, if I'm mad at you, okay, I'm mad at you. We deal with what we deal with. I'll be mad at you for an hour, maybe 2 hours, maybe 3, nothing crazy. But it's not something that I'm going to hold on to for, like, a week and hold it over your head. And then it's like, when you're dealing with people like that, and I'm not like that, it doubles the frustration, and it doubles, like, the whole animosity, or even, like, the tension, and so, yeah, I'm a person that likes to do things head on, like, like, especially, like, in my family, growing up, there was such a, like, se hablan sobre las cosas, pero no se pegan, like, you're not talking about it. Everybody talks about it. Nobody talks about it.
Nobody talks about it directly.
Right. And I'm like, nah, I don't want to, like, I'm not trying to be like that. Like, I'm trying to, like, let's have clarity, like, with clarity. And it also helps you be genuine, because then when you don't have clarity, that's when you have misconceptions and assumptions and shit like that. But if somebody knows you clear, So yeah, it was a thing where like, yo, we looking at each other, and it was a lot of work. I'm not going to say she didn't put in work, but there was a lot of sacrifice and work on my end. And it was kind of like, I'm waiting for the reciprocation thing. And then it was like, oh no, we're always busy. We're always busy. And then I was like, okay, we're not busy. So what's the excuse now? And then it was like, oh, I don't know if I love you. And I'm like, oh shit. Okay. Let's, but it's 9 years. You know what I'm saying? Like, we got to know at this point what's going on, but it's also, I think, pandemic also messed with a lot of people's, as far as like, they're thinking that they had to be something else or, not waste time or whatever it is, to each their own on their journey. But yeah, it was rough. It was like, okay. But like I said, it cut out all the bullshit. Now we looking at each other and it's like, hey, so the stuff that you said that you was going to work on, what's going on, And then it's like,
that's
no.
Aiden.
Yeah. Oh, what's his name?
Aiden.
Hey, Aiden. What's
Say
up?
Hi.
Hi. He's 13?
Yeah, he's a grown ass man.
Oh, good luck. Yeah. Good luck with that one. Boy's a boy, regardless. Yeah. So
it is just sitting down and kind of like, and then even like confrontation style. Like you touched on something that kind of like resonated with me. You were talking about how you like to talk about the problem directly and squash it, right? There's people that are not like that. There's people that feel like if you talk about it, you're gonna take it a certain way, and the thing's gonna get worse. And honestly, like si yo tengo una contigo, if I'm mad at you, dame mi espacio, give me my space, right?
Sure.
I'm not gonna take 2 days to come back. It's gonna be like an hour. Let me calm down. I don't wanna come out of my face and say something that I'm gonna regret in the end. I'm very much about
like, not coming from emotion.
Not necessarily not coming from emotion. Like, I can communicate emotions very effectively. The thing is that I want to be able to sit down and kind of really think about what is it that bothered me and how I can articulate that to you so that you understand where I'm coming from.
Yes, fair enough.
Because a lot of the time, like, I would get angry and then I felt like I couldn't say something, at least with my ex-husband. And it was kind of like, on eggshells all the time.
Sure.
And then a lot of the time when I did communicate, the person was receiving it the way that I thought I was communicating.
Right.
So yeah, that, and then like that passive aggressive stuff, I can't do that.
That's what I'm saying. Like, again, and I am from like, again, correcting past mistakes, because you have, like, if you don't grow, if you're not taking those hard hits, even the mistakes that you commit or whatever the mistakes committed on you, and apply them to what you're doing moving forward, then you're not, there's nothing. So, in knowing past mistakes, as far as like, and when I say speaking from emotion, I'm talking about in the moment, sometimes getting angry. And I am not a person that says things out of anger, because I've been around people that say things out of anger, and then an hour later they're like, I'm so sorry, but you can't stuff what you said back into a box. What you said was said, and a lot of times it's coming from a place of their truth, even though it might hurt you, is their truth, So I do like if we are in an argument, or if it is this, if I walk away, it's not like that I'm dissing the conversation. It's just like it's getting heated to a point where, things are going to be said that probably shouldn't be said. And I feel like that's great. You need to take a 5 sometimes to like just walk away. Just walk away and then explain yourself later if you have to. Just like, listen, because whatever might happen in those moments, that's when stupid shit happens. And then I'm not even just talking about me being me. Like, I've been like, hey, I say something and the girl will punch the shit out of me. And then now we're in something, you know what I mean? Right. So then it's like, okay, whatever. So, so you're like, oh shit, hold on, you also want to come from a place of reason, and sometimes a lot of the emotional stuff is ego driven. So you have to like pause and take a break and think, it's like, is this really bothering me because what I think is bothering me, or am I, or is there some other reason, or it's just because my feelings are hurt, like or I feel like somebody like is not, I'm jealous of something, which is, it happens. We're all We're all
Yeah, that's
human.
valid.
Yeah, but I do think like you need to take a breather, cool, but it shouldn't be something that like I'm mad at you, now I'm gonna hold on to this shit for a week and hold it over your head and have you in this whole like, I'm so sorry, like the suspense thing, like when is the ball gonna drop?
Yeah.
Because it's like it's cool, man. My father raised me like that. I don't need that shit. I was like, I got that shit from my dad. I don't need that from like the person that I'm sharing my life with. It's fine. I
Yeah,
don't need that
another thing that I hate.
intimidation. Yeah, it's like an
Yeah,
intimidation thing.
so another thing that I hate, like growing up, one of my parents would get angry, and then they would ignore me, and that shit is hella triggering. It's still something that I'm working on now. Like I can see where the emotion is coming from. You know what I'm saying? And I can stop myself now. But if I felt that I was being ignored, it would be kind of like this ego driven thing, like, oh, why the fuck are you ignoring me? Like, whatever. But
Then I got a bad one too.
Huh?
No, I was saying that I got a bad one too, because that's my number one pet peeve. And there was a lot of that. Like,
and it's kind of disrespectful. It's so
oh,
disrespectful.
and it's like we're
so
living in the house together.
Too.
Right. And it's like, yo, so you're gonna talk to the kids. So then like there was this thing that would happen, like, they would start talking to the kids and telling the kids stuff that they wanted me to hear, but because they're not talking to me, or it would be something that I know they would be having a conversation with me. But because of whatever the situation is, you're having the conversation with somebody. Like, and I'm just like, really? Like, and no, we're just gonna keep this going. And like I said, I'm not trying to like belittle people's feelings either. Like, yo, you're mad. You have every right to be mad. Like, all right, cool. But how far are you going to take that? Right. Like, what is this about? Like, keep it to what it is, keep it to what it is,
Another thing that, so we're going to like in the argument part, like there's, and I know there's women that are going to disagree, but like, just because you're mad, you don't withhold sex from your partner. Like, I'm sorry. There's like people that are like that, and they're like telling me like, I'm not, if he thinks blah, blah, blah. I'm like, so why don't you have the conversation and like settle it so that you guys can move on? Because like withholding for me.
So then and what I say. Then I say to them, when you do that, then when they give you the wham bam thank you ma'am for 2 seconds, you can't get mad because you're making sex be all about them. You understand what I'm saying? So if I'm withholding sex when we're mad, it's something that I know that you want. It's not, you're making it seem like that's not something that doesn't affect you, and it gives it gives the guys a lot of like not conscious guys the wrong idea of that. Like, just puts them in the wrong mentality because then they're thinking it's something that's their part of the relationship. They're good. You know what I mean? Like, I think sex should be something that both of y'all should be enjoying. It should be something that both of y'all treat each other with. You know what I mean? It's not something that it should just like.
You think about it.
Yeah.
It's manipulation. Like, I don't know. I feel like I some of my listeners might not agree, but if I'm mad at my partner,
how about this situation?
We're gonna squash it.
Yeah.
We talk about it beforehand, and then we do what we gotta do. Then the next day, the next day is a new day. Like, bringing you all that drama to the next day, that doesn't help either. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's a little immature.
And also, these are people that do not know the benefits of makeup sex. Like, makeup sex is great. Holy shit! When you're mad at each other, you're like, "Hey, man, yo, we get that was serious like it." But yeah, I mean, like I said, like I've been in situations, not to name names. I've been in situations where so we're we're not, it's like sex isn't like a everyday rocking thing, or even like it's already slow to be, business is slow to begin with, right? And then we have these situations now where now you're gonna get now you put like, say, like, then I will get put into situations where I'm going out of my way and probably doing things that I wouldn't have been doing regularly just because I'm trying to stay in good graces. I'm trying to get to that because I'm like, and listen to the mentality. Like, it's like, all right, because the moment that she wants to give it to me, I got to make sure I'm not fucking it up. Right. But then guess what happens? And now she gets mad. Now she's not giving it to you. But that only works if you're giving it all the time. ladies. If you're not giving it all the time and then you withhold it when they're mad, there's no punishment there. There's just frustration. You understand what I'm saying? So it was at the end where it was just like, all right, so you're not okay, but what's the difference from what happened yesterday? Like, even when we're good, we're not banging. Like, so what's good? Like, it ain't, so it's rough because then especially when they withhold the sex like that, because then you're just like, yo, you're always on eggshells. You're always on eggshells. And then guess what? As much as guys are visual and visceral people, when it comes to the sex, we're also very mental. So if the situation is like, shit won't function, shit won't work for a lot of dudes. If the move, you understand what I'm saying? Like, so you put in pressure and all this other kind of shit can happen. And then, or you get into like, oh shit, we ain't gonna last too long. It's been 6 months. I mean, you gonna touch the wind coming through the window is gonna do the work real quick. If that's the deal, So, and then that's like that's a whole, but then like if you're a guy like I was, that conscious of that too, then you're like, now you're going overtime. You're trying to go overtime when you're doing it because I want her to have such good sex that I want her to keep wanting to want it all the time, And then it's like, yeah, I did my job, but then it's like, but then again, people can turn asexual. People can turn, different things happen to people through time, and but that's like you just like, oh shit, like this is rough. It's rough. It was rough. It's rough. It was rough.
Wait, so this year that you have single, how has it been? Have you dated? Have you gone out with anybody?
So I'm a big ass pussy. I haven't.
You haven't?
I'm a big pendejo. No, so. Oh man, should I put people on blast? I'm gonna put people on blast. I don't really give a shit. That's the type of.
Don't say no names.
No, I mean, if I do, it's on me. Don't worry, Marcy. Okay. she's like, yo, don't do this on my show. No, yo,
nah. No, it's okay.
I won't do that. Nah, I would never do that. I just. And then at the end of the day, trust me, I will get the call before you. Will be like, so anyway, no.
Or wait, this happened in a salon. Some guy went on and he was like telling the story about his break up with a girl, and then some chick slid into their DMs like, let me tell you what really happened.
Nah, let me tell you. Nah, so I mean, first of all, I was in it, it was 9 years. 9 years is a long fucking time.
Yeah.
And it's not like I was Don Juan DeMarco before I went in there. You know what I'm saying? Like, I wasn't no chulo or anything. I don't have any game. But coming out of that, then it's like, you spend that time in suspension. Like, is it like, am I going to get over this person? Because at the end of the day, like, I was in a relationship, when you break up, one of y'all stays still in the relationship. Like, one of y'all still has feelings and one of y'all doesn't, because emotionally, because even and sometimes it's the person that broke it up because they had to break it up for whatever reason, but sometimes you still love that person. You're like, God damn it. Like, and you walk away, and one walks away a little bit more damaged than the other emotionally, or just more caught up in the relationship. And in this, I know it was me. I was still, because the shit that happened, nothing, I didn't change. The shit changed for her, so it was like I had to adjust. So stepping into it, like, you're hurt, and then you're like, damn, like, I sacrificed and did so much, and I did all these things. So, like, am I even worthy of being in a relationship? Am I, like, what is it that I'm doing that's not working? Like, here I am, like, I went above and beyond, and I can sit here and look, I've made a lot of mistakes, but when me and in this last relationship, I didn't get into it as a youngin. I was single for like a long time, and a lot of things happened, and I wanted to make sure that who I was with and who I knew like that this is the person that I wanted to be the mother of my children and all this other kind of things, when it happened. So to have like 9 years go by and everything changes, and now you're like, shit, man, it's scary as shit. And I don't know, for like the first 6 months, it's like you don't know what is what. Like,
yeah,
I don't even, so And then you get to the point where you're just like, oh, this shit is not going to happen again. Like you have that confirmation that you're like, hey, okay, so we're not getting back together. Like you get to that affirmation point. You get to the point where you're like, I'm over it. I'm over her. I can start to do that. And then you start looking around a little bit, and then it's like, okay, but how do you even, I don't like Tinder was before my time. All those applications, all that shit is before my time.
Wait, how old are you, Jerry?
I'm 43.
Ah, okay, yeah.
Yeah. So this is way before my time. So I'm like, I don't know none of this shit. I'm like, I know beeper codes. I know how to send like love beeper codes, 143. Yeah, that shit. So I don't know none of that, or none of this non-modern shit. But it got to the point where for yourself, you do have to do certain things to get yourself out of the, So, I shot my shot. I've never, okay, let me put it this way. Even before I was single, even before I was in a relationship, whatever, I'm not the type of dude to be like, yo, what's up, mama? How you doing? Like, yo, you know what I'm saying? I don't do the Diaz. I don't know how to do none of that shit. I'm just like, hey, I'm here, whatever, let's be friends, whatever. So, for me to be like, all right, but then like, pandemic changed a lot of shit. You like, you can't waste time. You got to be a little bit more assertive. You got to be a little bit more confident. But it's also stuff to help you with your own confidence. So yeah, I mean, she knows who she is. She left me on red. It's all right. But I thought it was cool. I shot my little shot, but it wasn't even a real shot. It wasn't even a real shot. It was like, yo, what's up?
What'd you tell her? Just what's up?
I was just, all right. So like, right. It was a hangout. And then I was like, yo, what's up? And then I went into the DMs and then I was like, yo, what's good? But the thing is this is somebody I've known for a long time. So I felt comfortable doing this, it was, so it's not just a stranger. And it was like a friendly thing. And then I was like, all right. And then we got on the, we switched transfer over to the phone. It was not crazy. And I was very, what do you call that? I was very honest about like, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. Like I'm telling all this shit. I don't know what I'm doing. Like I'm just trying to keep it cool, And, and then I dropped, I was like, yo, so what's up? What I got to do to like, get on the schedule? Like, what's up? When we want to hang out? Like real casual. It's been, what's today's date? Shit. I don't even know what that shit. Yeah, it's like fucking, I don't know how long it's been. But here's the funny thing. We're in the business. Like we're all in like, the industry. So I don't mind. It's not about like, you're right. No woman knows any man anything. Bottom line, at the end of the day, nobody, there's rules to this shit. And also like, that whole entitlement men used to have before, that shit is gone. That's new age. Like that's for real. But at the end of the day, like we are friendly. I am not some strange dude. You could just be like, hey, I ain't thinking about us that way or whatever. Like I'm cool. Like, hey, no problem. I'm gonna keep it moving. You understand what I'm saying? But now I'm left on red and I'm like, damn it, we were supposed to work on a project together and you messing this up because now I'm like, I'm waiting for you to call me. I ain't gonna call you. I called you. You ain't left me on red. But
you can always fix that. I think like you could be like, yo, my fault if I stepped out of bounds or whatever. Just following the project or whatever it is.
I could.
You wasn't out of pocket like from
I didn't know, and I didn't get out of pocket. I didn't get fresh. It was just like, how can we hang out? That type of shit. Because it wasn't even on some like, yo, I think you're gorgeous and beautiful, and I wanna, it was just like, yo, you wanna hang out? And then I'm like, we got mutual friends. So I asked, and the mutual friend's like, oh, she's busy. I think she's trying to get back with an ex, and she's busy. And I'm like, really? Because she's in day 7 of quarantine. And I still haven't. She ain't doing shit. She's home. She got COVID. But again, these are all, but that for me, that experience, it was more about like, oh shit, I did that. Okay. I don't really care what the outcome is of that, to be honest with you, to be 100%. And then, I don't know, it's just weird. It's just been a weird, so I've started to go out more. One, because of the pandemic and I'm vaccinated. Like one of the events was the thing where we met at, and it was like, but I'm still like, I'm not like, I'm really like up in the heat though, bro. Cause I'm really not like making moves and like trying to hit on nobody. I'm just like, hey, what's up? I'm here. I just got out. I did a 9-year bid. But it's weird. It's weird. It's weird.
Very different dating. I mean, I feel like I really didn't have like the proper experience dating. It's kind of like, what was it? I was like going to college, and then I was finishing my bachelor's, and I met my son's father, and I didn't even meet him here. I met him in Dominican Republic.
Oh my God. Tú le manqueaste papel a ese hombre. Don't tell me that shit. Diablo. 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 Jesus, what a lucky dude.
No, so whatever. Like, so we got together, and then we didn't really. It wasn't like proper dating according to like, you know, how we're used to here in the States.
Right. DR's a whole other thing. Yeah.
I mean, we did go out and we did things together.
Sure.
And, like, we went, you know, we went to resorts and all that stuff, but it wasn't like dating here. So once we broke up, it was kind of like adjusting to what dating is here in the States. And I didn't like, I kind of did the same thing you did. I took time to like heal and work on myself and like make myself happy and get back to who I was. And then I started dating. And then when I started dating, it was just like, it was a shit show. It was like Tinder, and I did the match thing, and it was a bunch of crap. At least with Tinder, guys are honest, because if they want to get it on and popping, they'll be like, "Yo, what's good, ma?" And you're like, "I'm good."
Okay, because I'm being told to join these things, right? But I'm like, I'm gonna be on there like, well, hello, how are you? You know, like niggas like, nah, you gotta Tinder's this, Bumble's this.
No, don't listen to nobody, because I've gotten like, I actually dated somebody seriously off of Tinder, and
oh, okay,
and I went on good dates. It wasn't like it wasn't bad dates or anything like that. It's just kind of like the guys on Tinder are more honest. Like if they're just trying to slide, they'll let you know, and that's on you. Like if you want to do that or not. Which, if y'all want to do your thing, girls, and pop your kitty cat all over the place, do your thing. I am not opposed. But if you are not looking for that, there are men there that are actually quality men that will take you out and like wine and dine you properly. So yeah. But yeah, like dating is strange. It's strange.
You know, so then there was this other young lady who I've known for a long time, and I had like a little crush thing, you know, like whatever. But you know, you with somebody else, she was somebody else, whatever. And the crazy thing about it is, right? So, no judgment, and I'm saying this with no judgment, right? It just seems like she fucked everybody else, but don't want to fuck me. You know what I mean? That kind of whole thing. So then I was just like, oh my God, like, what am I doing wrong? Like, and we're cool as shit. Like,
all the homies.
I'm like, yo, you smashed like everybody. And now here I am, and I'm treating you like a decent human being. Like, you know what I'm saying? I ain't treating you like, I ain't judging you. And I wasn't even coming at her on some like, yo, man, it was like, we're friends. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, yo, I like you in this way, and I've seen you at your worst, and this is, and it's like, nah, all right, cool, you know. So that, when this is a while ago, you know, so there's one of those things where you're just like, damn, what the fuck is wrong with me? But then you also have to realize, like, I'm a cosmic person. I don't mean to sound all like hippie, whatever, but I'm like a cosmic person. I feel like things have to line. You know what I'm saying? Like things have to line up right, and if it ain't lining up right, it ain't gonna line up, and you ain't gonna get it. Like, you know what I mean? And then it's not meant for you. And I think a lot of people have a hard time sometimes, like accepting that. You know, like, but why? This is perfect and all this other shit, and then it's like, no, you know, and it might be a situation that later on this other person might change their mind and might come back around, because there's been moments, I know that, but that means it just wasn't meant to be.
Yeah.
You know?
One of my homegirls tried to hook me up with one of her friends, and she's like, you guys would be great together, and you guys are so sweet, and you're both parents, and you're this. And like, we went on a couple of dates, and it didn't go anywhere, you know what I'm saying? And like, he ended up being in a relationship with somebody, which is cool, you know what I'm saying? But like, I am like hard body, like I believe that, like if something doesn't line up, you don't push that, like it either flows, and if you have to push or chase or whatever, like do the most, then that's not the thing for you. You know what I'm saying?
And no, and the thing is like, it's okay. Like, it's all right to chase a little, like, you know, there's the thing, you know, but what I'm saying is like, one thing is you like, hey, what's up? And like trying to hook up with somebody and it not lining up. You understand what I'm saying? Like, that's, something's always happening or whatever. And it's maybe not even the other person's fault. It's just, you know, cosmic shit. Like I say, it's cosmic shit. So it's like, oh damn, it's just not meant to be, even though, like, you know, as an adult, I tell this to so many young people, you know, two people can be completely in love with each other, but not be right for each other. Like, you could have the love of your life, but that's not the person you're supposed to be with. And I know that sounds weird, but that's true. It's true. Like, you could be, like, you guys are fucking perfect together, but you can't be together. Like, oh shit, how does that work? But that's how it works. Yeah.
There's people that and we're gonna get real cosmic now. Like, you've made soul contracts with them. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's people that are supposed to be in your lives, and they might be your soulmate, but that's not the person you're supposed to end up with.
I say seasons. People are seasons and reasons. Okay, they come in for seasons and they come in for reasons. You know, and it's okay if somebody's like, you know, Facebook, Instagram, all this other, especially Facebook, has fucked up the game, because it's like now, like, you become friends with somebody and you're like friends with them for like 30 years because you know what's going on. But before, they used to not be like, you used to be, you hang out with somebody for 2 years. That was your person. Like, and not even on the sexual shit, like just like your friend, your best friend. You guys do everything together, and then life happens, and all of a sudden, like, you don't, no fight, no nothing. It's just, we just stopped hanging out with each other. It just happened, and that's okay. But when you were in those moments, you needed that person there, and that's okay. And they serve their purpose in your life in that time. Some people are meant to be in your life the whole time, like forever. And they, from when you know them forever, and there's a reason why you know them forever. But people come into your life for seasons and reasons. And if the season ain't right and the reason ain't right.
Damn, so I had a question. I was going to ask you, like, what's some of your most memorable dates, positive or negative, but you haven't really been going out like that. Have you been on a short date or whatever?
I went on a short date. Yeah, I did do like a date. I did do a date.
Just one?
Just one. Just one. Look. Well, the thing is like, it's weird though, because then you end up like, you know, especially with the pandemic, it's hard to even plan stuff. Like, sometimes you just end up hanging out with people, and it's like, oh, okay.
In their houses and stuff?
Yeah. But, or like somebody's a friend's house, you know, just weird places, weird things. But, yeah, no, I went on one date, and, yeah, I was a mess. I didn't know what to do. Like, I don't. And then like, and also like, you have to be careful of like, because you lose yourself in relationships. So you don't.
Yes.
Like, I don't know, you know, again, because there were intimacy issues. Now that's affected me moving forward. Now, I was not, like I said, I wasn't a Don Juan, but I wasn't a person that lacked confidence in that department, as far as like, hey, you know, when it get, I'm not broadcasting it, but when we get there, we gonna have a good time. We gonna be all right. And now I can't. I don't. That's when we like, well, hey, you and me both gonna find out right now what's gonna happen. Like, that's the deal right now. Like, that's how I feel. You know, that's how scared I am. Which used to not be like that. Like, before, I'm like, all right, this was a competition, whatever. But now it's like, I don't know. I could talk all the shit I want, and I could bring like my own mentality from before, but I have no idea what's going to go on, man. I don't even know where the parts go. I don't know if anything works or doesn't work. It's weird. No, I'm joking. But it's weird. It's weird from the perspective of like, these are not things that you think of, but they're truly crucial things, especially when you're like dealing with somebody else. It's like your confidence level, you know? So now it's like, even talking to somebody, it's like, I don't know. Before I'd be like, nah, I know. Yeah. No, well, that's when you listen, I was trying to get out of my head, but no, like, that's where I was trapped. You know what I mean? That's where you kind of trap yourself. And then like, so now I was like, I didn't know how to approach the person that I was the most comfortable with in this world intimately. Like, I didn't know how to like. I turned into like a robot guy again. Like, con la mano abierta, like it turns into that. So then how you can't. There's no smooth transition into like, oh, the next thing that's coming, because now it's like you have to learn the person all over. You have to know what their things are and all this other shit, and you have to have that confidence. And I don't know if I'm gonna be honest with you, like that confidence fucks with me. So
I feel like
yo veo un ching, I'll be all right, but no.
No, pero importante. I feel like it's important to really have like once you start seeing somebody a little bit more, like once you start going on. First of all, you got to get out there. You can't. Don't hide. Regardless, it's trial and error. It's not gonna. Your life is not gonna end if it doesn't work out with somebody.
No, you're right. You're right.
If it doesn't, like you said, that person's not aligned for you, right? But once you start seeing somebody more frequently, having that conversation about like sexual preferences. Not that you like weird shit in bed. I mean, even if you do like weird shit in bed, talk about it.
That's fine, right?
There's stuff to talk about. You know what I'm saying? Right. So like. Really having a conversation about like things that they enjoy, what you enjoy, what you would like all of that is very helpful because like you said, like más claridad más amistad, right? Like so the more clear it is and you know what the person wants, it's easier to accommodate that person and kind of like get an idea of how to approach them, especially intimately, you know? So it's like you gotta get out there, Jerry.
I mean, look, I'll give it to the young people now. They got it down. Like, they got the whole like, yo, we're adulting, we're adults here. You know, we could be friends with benefits shit. Like, I just feel like back in the day, it was always messy. Like, you know what I mean? Like, someone would always mess up the friends with, you know what I mean? Like, it was always like, it would get messy. And I think kids now are very much like, oh no, they're in tune with their shit. Like, they're very aware. They know the terms. They're like, you know, they're very like, I'm just like, holy shit. Okay, cool. This is cool. But it's also dope to see because it's like, yo, no, this is a human evolution. Thank God. Like, you know, people are progressing and it's not, you're not just looking at it from one thing anymore. Like there's a lot of, hey, you know, and women have, you know, fuck that shit. Women have taken the control a lot of their own sexuality, which is great, and I love that. Like I think that's fucking amazing. I'm a big fan of that. Strong women and fuck that. Take your place right next to us. Ain't nobody, like I said, women don't know guys nothing, you know? So
true. I like that. So wait, once you start dating, because like we're talking about you're not out there yet, right? You're like moving towards the door, right?
So when I decided to like when I bought the ticket, like when I got my passport to go back out there, Omarion's took over, Omicron or whatever his name is, he came out. And Maricon, and he's like, you know, he fucked up the vibe because, you know, I started like I went in like I redid my gear. You saw like the first week of like me like not first week but like the first like full dress up because the other thing was just like nice gear, like a couple things.
So wait, I gotta tell my listeners how you was looking that day.
Oh,
homie had a 2-piece suit, right? It was like a burgundy color, right?
Yeah,
with a nice like a crew neck fancy t-shirt under with a nice belt, and he was wearing his J's. He was looking real spiffy. And
thank you.
And there goes American and messed up everything. We were actually paranoid. Remember after the party we was just like,
we was freaking out. Yeah. Yo, who got it? Yeah.
My throat hurts a little bit. What's up?
And the thing is, there's like some people came out of there like, yeah, I got it. I was like, what the fuck? So
really?
Yeah. But like it was after, it wasn't from that event. Okay. Yeah. But they were there and it made me freak out regardless. You know, freak out.
No, en serio, like, you know, once you you know, get your groove back, because you're going to be like Stella. Once you get your groove back.
Yeah.
What do you think? Like, once you start dating, like, how long do you think more or less you're going to take to introduce that person, if it's serious, to your daughter?
To my daughter? That's a great question because I've been thinking about it. I had such a rough time explaining the breakup and making her understand because she's 8.
Mm-hmm.
So like even when I left the house, it was like, no, I'm gonna help grandma with some stuff, and then it was like, no, that's why I'm in, that kind of shit. And then, but now like it's out. So we've had the conversations and everything. I don't know how comfortable she would be even meeting somebody, to be honest with you, just from her perspective. So that's the point. That's the part that most is the most important to me. I don't know how long. I think it would depend on the seriousness of the relationship. Like if I really feel like it could be, I'm not going to say like, hey, I'm going to put them up like, yo, 6 months. If it's a vibe, and there's been times, you meet somebody and within the month it's cool and you last a long time with them. There's people that might take 6 months and then you're like, nah, this shit is whack. It's not gonna happen.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think it all comes down to vibe. Number one, but I also do know that in order for the next step to happen, to move forward with this next person, that's something that has to happen. Like I don't want to put that on her, and I also don't want to put this on the person that's going to come in, but a lot of it is going to depend on that relationship. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like, I need that shit to work. I need that shit to work. It's important. And I'll know if it's genuine or not. You know what I'm saying? Like me and my daughter, like we're genuine people. We're gonna, I'll smell bullshit from a mile away. You know what I'm saying? Like we're like, yo, ¿qué esta mierda? No. We don't do bullshit here, and I'm raising my daughter the same way. Like I want her to, just being honest and being in the moment with people. Cause that's what I say. Like, it's not even about like, it's just about being in the moment. Like you got to if you're talking to somebody, you're with somebody, you give them your attention. Don't, you give them your time. You're with them. And, so I don't know. That's it would have to be like, we're going onto like the seriousness of it.
Yeah.
If they have a kid and it's something like, oh, it's like a convenient thing, like maybe a hangout thing, maybe, like if they have it, but even then, like, I really don't see myself.
I'm very particular about that. Like,
you should be.
When I date, especially like, no, because, I mean, we come from a different school of thought. Like nowadays people don't really, no le da mente a nada, right?
No, right.
But when I was a kid, my dad passed away when I was 11, and my mom didn't really date anybody. And regardless if she would have, I don't think she would have been bringing nobody to the house like that. Because once she has a girl, you don't know people's intentions. You don't bring no other.
Yep.
And then, you're not going to bring somebody kind of that's going to throw off the dynamic of your house. So for me, when I started dating after I broke up with my son's dad, it's kind of like, it takes me a while to bring my kid around that person. And there's been times like I've had to cancel on dates, like hey, my babysitter,
canceled on me or whatever.
And I can't come out. I have my kid. Oh, bring him. No, I'm not good.
No.
I don't even know you if I like you like that. Why am I going to bring my kid around you? No.
Nah.
That's a dub. So, yeah, like, that's definitely something, like, my son really hasn't met a lot of the people that I've dated, just because, like, if it doesn't get there, I don't want to be having to explain, like, oh, yeah, this person and I are no longer together.
That's right. You
know what I'm saying?
And also, like, I think you're doing the other person a service. Like, as a parent, we're doing them a service, because kids fucking read you from day fucking one. And if they see some shit that they don't like or whatever, like they will relay that to you in one way or another. They may not say, I don't like him, but they'll act out or whatever. You'll see it. You will feel it.
I told the story a couple of times. So like in El Salon, when they interviewed me initially, we talked about dating and stuff. And like, do I bring men around my kid? And I said, no. So there was a person that I dated long term, kind of like, I want to say like 2 years and change, on and off. And the first time he met my kid, Aiden like ninja started his phone in the air. And Aiden's not a violent kid.
Right. But
so
he just felt like
the guy was, I was like, then I stepped in and I was like, Aiden, we don't do that. That's not okay. Blah, I gotta go to your room. So as he's walking away, he's like, that's an ugly hat. You look like a goat, to the guy. And Aiden's very respectful. Like, Aiden is the sweetest. And I was like,
Yep.
Like, that gave me like pause. And I was like, I don't know, man.
There's a reason he's being like that. Right.
So definitely, yeah, I don't really bring people around my kid like that. And and even if it is a woman, it's different, but like still, like you don't know
Chill,
how that
still.
person's gonna react to your child and stuff like that.
When I like, especially my ex, she already had a child, like, we were speaking about earlier. And when I met her, she was 4, like 4, 3 or 4. I had told her mother, I said, when we were like dating, I guess, I was like, so I don't want to meet your daughter. Cause I had come out of a relationship where I raised another kid before that.
Oh, wow.
Like I was there during like the whole cup bring, for about the first 4 years of the child's life. And I'm talking about from like 3 months on, like, and then like, the dad showed up, and then it was like a whole lot of disrespectful shit. Like, yo, well, what about all the shit that I've been put, the work that's my kid, that's my son, So I got into this whole like, yo, I don't want to deal with nobody's kid, whatever.
It's a bad experience for you.
You know what I mean? Because I grew attached to that kid, and I'm still in touch with the family, so I'll see the kid, and I'm like, yo, he has, and I ran into him. Funny enough, I ran into him. He was a little bit older, and he was like, I know you, right? Like that. He's like, I know you. And I was like, he was like 7 or 8, something like that. He was like, I know you, right? I was like, yeah, you know me. And then he was playing, and on one he came, he was like, Dad. Like it clicked. And then he was like, and then I was like, no, I'm not your dad. And he was like, but why do I feel like I could call you dad? And he's like, it was like, so it was one of those things where I was like, damn, I don't know if I should be in the situation even anymore. I don't want to fuck up the kid. But, it was a thing where I don't want to meet the kid. And if you're a person and like, you need to respect and have that boundary of like, the parent is going to know. And don't think you're going to win the parent over by winning the child either. That doesn't work that way either. So, at the end of the day, you still...
that my kid likes, and I'm like, hell to the motherfucking
hell no. Right. You're like, no, Papa. But I think you should listen to your son in his instincts if he tells you no. You know what I mean? Like, I listen to my daughter, but my daughter, I haven't put my daughter in that situation yet. But, it was rough even talking to her about dating, because she's just like, when I would tell her, like, she's like, no, I'm going to fix it. That was her thing. I'm going to fix it.
That breaks my heart.
Yeah. Oh, it breaks mine, because it's like, and that's why I fought so hard for her,
Yeah.
But then at the end of the day, man, like, it's like, they're also going to see you suffering. So you got to step away. So.
No, of course. It's better to see both of your parents separated but happy instead of together and unhappy. I feel like that's a better way to grow up, because and also you could model appropriate relationships to her, like love, like real love,
and boundaries and stuff like that. So like, we had we had the conversation. So like, she knows now, and so she asked the other day, like, what's gonna, and I was like, no, look, me and your mother still loves you the same. I still love you the same. I was like, if anything, like, you said, I'm like, hey, now you got advantages. You have 2 rooms. You have double of everything. You're going to get 2 of everything. She's like, well, espérate. Like that changed her mind. I was like, you get 2 of everything. But yeah, she's amazing.
All right. So I have a question. When you get back out there, get on the saddle, what are things that you consider red flags when you're dating somebody? Or like interacting with somebody in general? Not necessarily dating, like anybody you meet. What are like some red flags that you would like, it's like kind of like that's a deal breaker for you?
Well, number one, and you can see this right away, because usually if you, like, especially on a date, right? How they treat service people. That's a huge red flag. Like, pay attention to that shit. Like, their manners, like somebody holds the door open for them if they're aware, like, because there's people that are very, I'm not saying that you always going to say that in 100%, but there's, I'm very aware all the time when we're like, of my surroundings. So if I'm walking, somebody helps, what up, thank you, this and that. Like, I'm not a person that's aloof, and those people are scary sometimes that are very, because that means, where's their head?
Yeah.
So yeah, how they treat service people. And one also, because, I've worked in the service industry for a long time, and you're just like, wow, if people knew how much of an asshole you really were, that's a big red flag. And I think you listen to people, because people tell you who they are.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And listen to that shit. Like, really, really listen. Like, because they will tell you who they are. And like 9 times out of 10, people slip up and they tell you everything. Like and you just gotta look for those flags. And also I feel like I think a big red flag for me is how much they talk about themselves, or how much they, you know what I'm saying? Like a lot of times, like you get to sitting with people, and then it's like, no, because I'm humble and I do this and I blah 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 blah, and I do, but then it's like they stay on a certain so yeah, I go, I'm not yeah, you know what I mean? Like I like people that are of action and not of words, because actions.
I mean, I feel like I like a combination, because there's people that are like, oh, I'm gonna show you, which is cool. Yeah, show me, but
no, you gotta communicate. You have to talk.
Things, you know what I'm saying? Like you want to hear like there's people that are like, oh yeah, I don't have to tell you.
I think you're beautiful. Yeah.
I think you're beautiful. You hot, whatever. No. Okay, but like.
No, you still gotta do that.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, of course.
Stuff like that, and then and I'm gonna be real right now. There's guys that talk about all they're gonna do to you. Right? They're like, yo, te voy a coger, all this stuff.
And those are the worst ones, right?
Pero the only paquete, the biggest UPS así como tienen el furgón, like that. Like that paquete. And then when it comes to tiempo pa'l mambo, like to the, oh, pero tú no me dijiste tal cosa. Dime. Yeah. And then there's people that are like that, and it doesn't even have to do with the bedroom. It's like kind of like just in general, like they talk a lot about themselves, like, and I feel like
I'm gonna do this, and
I feel like it's psychological. They're trying to hype themselves up, but then they don't deliver on all the stuff that they promise. It's kind of like politicians, man.
Well, I mean, there's a lot. I mean, on the other end of the spectrum, because of course, there's dudes that do that, but like it's I mean, in my experience, it's been the same way. Like the women that are like, their IG post is all about sex and everything, sex and sex and sex, and they're selling this sultry shit, and then like you get there, and then it's like, Pero muévete, mujer, ¿qué pasó? What happened? What's going on?
Isn't there a dembow like talking about like?
I think so. I'm like, yo, it's like I'm not a necrophiliac, yo. Que se muevan un chin, ¿qué pasó? Especially when you talking all that shit, or you posting all that stuff, and also like that's the energy you putting out to dudes. So
they're gonna expect something in return.
Absolutely. And this dudes, like, you have to also understand, like, and I'm not saying that this is right, but then you have dudes that can't control themselves. So they're going to be all like fucking horn dogs and like, yo, dame chain. So you can't get mad if you putting out that energy. If you put meat out, the dogs are going to come. Claro. You understand what I'm saying? You could just sell your restaurant, like, sell your food in a restaurant at a table, like everybody come. But if you're going to put it outside, ahí vienen los perros. Right away. You show them, ahí vienen, But yeah, I mean, those are huge red flags. And also I think how they are with their families. Yeah. Like, and when I mean family, it doesn't necessarily mean their mother and father, because not everybody's like privy to have those relationships. I'm talking about like the family they've made. Like, you need to have your own, like your friends that you've made a family with, or you could, like those things, like how the priority they place on that. Those are also, and again, show me who you hang with.
Yeah.
And I show you who you are. Yeah. Like,
that's a big one. Like,
and a lot of times there's people that don't even know they're in a situation, right? Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, they're like, and I'm like, yo, I know but these people ain't good for you. Like they're with you for a reason. They're not with you because of you, that type of stuff. So those are 3 main things that I like. I'm like, all right, who's your crowd of friends? Who you rocking with? How you treat your family, and how you treat people when nobody's looking at you. How do you treat people when nobody's looking at you?
Listening to people, there's people that are like, oh, oof. I love this person. They're my friend. Da, 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 da. But when, pillow talking, they're like talking hella crap about these people. And you're just like, wow, pero este tu mejor amigo. This is your family member. And you say you love them, but you talking trash
Crazy
about this
shit.
person. Like, what are you talking
And
about? And you don't even know me from a hole in the wall. You know what I'm saying? Like, that makes you
that's
pause.
something that
gives you pause.
I live by that. I live by that. Like, there's nothing I'm not like, especially like I mean, there's stuff that you're not going to tell people to their face because it's going to hurt them. But I don't talk like if you hear me talking about somebody, I've told them to their face. Like, I've already told them shit to their face. Like, if I'm talking about it, like, yo, this motherfucker, this, it's because I've already told him to his face. I'm not going to be like, oh, because you or Jerry was saying this about you. Like, nah, I'm not. That's not my bag. You know? It's not my bag.
I think that, like, you're on the right path, Jerry, and like,
okay.
from talking to you, like, I feel like you're very emotionally intelligent, which is something that a lot of men, not all men, guys, don't come for me. There's a lot of people
no.
that, not just men. There's a lot of people that are not emotionally intelligent and are not aware. You know, so
it's a lot of work.
You bring this awareness to yourself, and the fact that, you know, you have this other perspective, which is really refreshing. So, ladies, please slide up into his DMs since he's so shy.
Shit, yo. high five on that. There you go.
I'm pimping you out there. No, but seriously. Okay,
who better?
Can we give one piece of advice to newly single people coming out of a long-term relationship like you?
Oof. Okay. Two things. Surround yourself with like good people, like that'll help you navigate this shit.
Mm-hmm.
Like you on the Rolodex now. You no, like, but like for real, like surround yourself with people to give you that support, because you're gonna, especially like, I don't know how long you've been in a relationship, but it's like, you know, you're going out there. It's a whole different game from whenever, even if it was from 3 years ago, 5 years ago, whatever. The game keeps changing. So make sure you have like a good support group that keep your spirits up, because dating sucks, you know, and you're going to run into people that they make you feel good, but then you're going to run into people that make you feel like shit because whatever. Cause you're like, damn, man, I can't even that vaina, like, what the fuck? That's number one. And number two, take it easy. Like, trust yourself. Like, listen to yourself. Like,
that intuition does not lie.
That intuition is there for a reason. Like, yo, listen to your intuition. Like, it's there. Like, if something's telling you don't do it, if someone's telling you like, oh, it's off, like, yo, trust yourself, because there's a billion people out there, you know? And I've been living off of this, especially after the breakup. It was something that it really said, you know, rejection is God's protection.
Yes.
Rejection is God's protection. So if you feel like you're being rejected or whatever, like, damn, it's because it's not meant for you. So listen to that. Just listen to that. Listen to yourself. And the signs are there. Look at the signs. Man. Trust yourself. Yeah.
Oh my God. Jerry, thank you so much. This was so fun.
This is great. This is like therapy. This is like therapy and like all this. Like, it's great. I like this. This is
You're welcome.
And then I get to talk about dating. Yes, please invite me back. Thank you for having me. Thank you for having me on the show. Now you need to come on our podcast. I'm gonna find out a way how to do this, but you're gonna come on our podcast.
Too, by the way, so todito los podcasts que tú haces, you can bring me on.
Oh, thank you. Oh, that's right, Latin Geeks too. There you go. See, you better promoting than I do. Ya se me había olvidado. Yeah.
All right, Comadres, thank you so much for spending the evening with us. Follow me at Comadreando Pod, and your compadre Jerry on IG at
El Modifoca. And you can also find us at The Men on Pause Podcast.
And Latin Geeks with an X.
And I did it again. And Latin Geeks. And Latin Geeks. And if you want to laugh, go to some of my comedy stuff. Room 28. And it's all on my page. Yeah, go check it out. Go have a good time.
He has all the links to all the cool stuff that he
Everything.
does.
Yeah.
And as always, if you have any questions, please feel free to send me a Comadre-Gram at my email at comadreando@escthenetwork.com, or slide up into my DMs. Thank you for spending the evening with your compadre and your comadre. And have a good night, everybody. Happy New Year. Bye.
Peace.